Welcome, everybody, to the Wellness Crusader Show. I'm Patti Reiss, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Jessica Endicott. We're excited for our show today. We're on energy medicine, quantum healing, and the power of intention with our lovely guest, who I will introduce in just a moment. But for now, I'm going to read our mission statement so everybody's very clear on why we're here. Our mission is to, including us, no, our mission is to educate and empower you and us to make informed choices for your health, the health of our children, our communities, and our earth. We are committed to fostering a world where the balance between human health and environmental stewardship is respected and nurtured. Join us in this holistic and transformative journey as we work together to create a healthier, more harmonious world for all. Please join the crusade. So we do hope you join us and share the message, because that's what we're here for, to help our world and our communities.
Yep.
Yay.
Yes. Thank you, Patti. Okay.
Thanks.
And our lovely little disclaimer. Listeners
Mm-hmm.
understand that the role of the health coach is not to prescribe or assess micro and macronutrient levels, provide healthcare, medical, or nutritional therapy or services, or to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease, condition, or other physical or mental ailment of the human body. Rather, the coach is a mentor and guide who has been trained in holistic health coaching to help clients have positive, sustainable lifestyle changes. The listener understands that we are not acting in the capacity of a doctor, licensed dietitian, nutritionist, psychologist, or other licensed or registered professional, and that any advice given is not meant to take the place of advice by those professionals. If the listener is under the care of a healthcare practitioner or currently using prescription medications, the listener should discuss any dietary changes or potential dietary supplement use with his or her doctor and should not discontinue any prescription medications without first consulting his or her doctor. The listener understands that the information mentioned in our talk should not be seen as medical or nursing advice, and it's not meant to take the place of seeing a licensed health professional. So,
There we
without
go.
much further ado, let's get to business.
Let's get to our show today. Well, we are really excited to bring in Joyce Steindler. There she is. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, oh, we're so excited you're here. And I want to just share a little bit before. I do want to read a little bit of your bio for folks, but we met at and I don't know if you were there that day, Jess, when we met Joyce the first time we were at the Park City Wellness Alliance. And when you got up and spoke, I just knew I had to stay connected to you and your energy. So I love that we're talking about energy, because your energy is what drew me to you.
Mhm.
And of course, you're doing energy medicine work and energy healing work. And I think it's a really powerful thing, for our health and our wellness, to really understand the energy body and how energy affects us and how we can use that to help us all be better. So thank you for coming on and doing the work that you've done. And I'd like to read a little bit about Joyce for our listeners. Joyce specializes in the field of hypnosis, energy psychology, and Reiki, as well as being a natural intuitive healer. Joyce knew from the age of 8 that her life's mission was to help bring peace to the planet, and later realized that it would begin with helping individuals and groups of people heal from their own wounds of trauma and pain. Becoming self-sufficient in her teens, she soon dedicated herself to both education and using her innate gifts to be of service to others. The many transitions and challenges she experienced along the way led to great empathy and commitment to helping others move forward in their healing path. In addition to her amazing son and daughter, that's cool. I'm glad to know about your son and daughter. What brings Joyce the most happiness is helping others to ease pain and anxiety in a gentle and non-judgmental way. Her own experiences have deepened her ability to be compassionate and fully present with others, leading to profound healing, transformation, and lasting well-being. Joyce offers guidance and support for the management of sleep disorders, phobias, stress, and pain control, and the promotion of relaxation and peace. She is certified energy health practitioner, a clinical certified hypnotherapist, emotional freedom technique, timeline connection practitioner. So I'm not sure what that is. Dynamic energy healing practitioner, Tao Hands Practitioner, and Golden Light Ascension energy practitioner, and a minister.
Wow.
I know.
Goodness, I thought I had a lot of certificates.
Yes. So thank you for your, and many of us keep exploring, going, oh, bring that, it's like, thank you. And so thank you for all the work you've done.
Amazing, Joyce. Thank you for all your education and knowledge and diving deep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an honor to serve and to help as much as possible. And so those certifications have come into culmination since the 90s. And that's when I began the mission to serve and learn as much as I could. So this is what I'm here doing. And Tao Academy is where I'm currently studying right now with Dr. and Master Shah, Dr. Rulin Shu as well. So that is the biggest part of my healing journey at this moment, is I keep leveling up with their teachings and coming into the full body of the presence and shining that light as much as possible. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
I love that. And the best, I know, as a teacher and a coach, the best coaches and teachers and healers continue to learn. We're not like, we got it.
Right.
We keep learning. I'm like, oh, there's another thread. And that's part of just being open to what spirit is directing us to, right? It's like, okay, here comes another element. But we do need to take breaks from learning.
And that's the part of implementing, like we talk about, every thought, word, and action that we experience in life. And that's part of us being in action and service to humanity, to ourselves, taking the breaks, but also serving in what we do download, understand, and implement as these certificates that we receive to help.
I love that. So let's dive in a little bit, just for folks listening in on, I'll share a little bit about what I understand with energy medicine. And that came through Qigong, which, I didn't know what Qigong was. My background is education. I was an elementary and special education teacher, and then I danced. And so I used dance as a lot of my healing work before I ever got into nutrition. And I actually was studying reflexology, which is another form of energy medicine, right? It's working with the body. So I went to this shop in Connecticut, Ridgefield, Connecticut, and I went for herbs because at that point I was studying energy work and a little bit of nutrition, but I was also still drinking. So I knew I wanted to do like a liver cleanse. So I went to this store called Meridians, and I walk into this little store to get herbs because I was reading up on this wonderful liver cleanse. And the lady said to me in her little Chinese accent, "Oh, you're here for Qigong." And I was like, "No, I just want some herbs for my liver." And she said, no. And I was like, okay. So she takes me around the back of this little herbal shop. And there was in the corner, in this little desk, a Chinese medicine Qigong master.
Oh.
And he said, he bowed at me. He didn't speak English. She spoke as best English as she could. And he taught me this energy Qigong movement practice for the meridians. And I just thought it was divine guidance. I actually added it into my movement dance classes. I actually lost some people because it was a form, for me, it was this form of movement. It looked like Tai Chi, but it was really Qigong. And so I continued to practice that and then study more about energy and Qigong and movement and breath. And I never stopped. It just became, and I realized before I got into the nutrition piece, that this energy work and this movement and this breath was something I knew I needed and wanted to share with others. So that was kind of my background in Qigong. I also did some studying of EFT, which you'll get into a little bit later, and then practiced Qigong. And I've practiced Qigong and taught Qigong somewhat for a long time through movement and breath. So, and Qi is energy and Gong is practice. So it was basically me moving energy. And I was like, wow, I feel better. I felt a lot better when I stopped drinking. Duh.
Wonder why.
I wonder why. And started studying nutrition, right? But mine came in through the movement because I was studying dance. So it came in through Qigong. And then, of course, other things came in, other threads came in like we talked about. So I wanted to share that a little bit. And Jess, do you want to share a little bit? And then we'll turn it over to Joyce.
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, where to even start with my energy journey? I mean, I'm Reiki certified. I've done a crystal healing class, but I think that having experienced the healing powers of energy work and having somebody else perform it on you makes you a believer.
Yeah.
Then also, I've just always kind of believed and understood the law of energy and how to work with it. And I remember watching The Secret, for the first time and being like, yes, like this resonates with me. This makes sense. And then even having my children watch it at such a young age, like they watched it at the ages of 8 and 6 and then rewatched it. And my daughter ended up being number 1 in the state of Utah in gymnastics because she understood the power of attraction and the law of attraction and how to manifest and create. And so to say like where it came from or how like I got involved, like it's always been a part of what I've known and felt. But I was able to embrace it a lot more going through my yoga therapy training, because going through yoga therapy training, we're working on all levels of the body. We're working on the mind, we're working on the spirit, we're working on the subtle body, the energetic body. And the emotional body. We don't just have just this physical body, right? We're a conglomeration of all these beautiful bodies working together that just help us. And so that's where it's so tricky when you're working with people and trauma and physical pain or emotional pain or mental pain, that it's not just one, it's affecting all of the layers, all of the bodies. And that's why sometimes it's so difficult to get to that place of just peace and ease, because you're peeling back layer after layer after layer after layer as you're going through this healing process. But for me, it's such a sacred, beautiful journey when you finally say, I deserve to heal and I'm going to figure out what's going on. And then you embrace that and things just start to flow of, okay, now you got to look at this. Now look at this, and thank you. And your body's just like, thank you so much for this journey. And your soul is, thank you. And your energy shifts and it changes, and good things just start coming and flowing, and the abundance is just there. And you start practicing gratitude and seeing it in everything. Like, I don't know, there's my long answer to how it came to be. But then, I mean, it's just,
it's beautiful. Every journey is different. And I love that you're saying yours came through movement. Yours came through movement and sound. And it sounds like Pati's did too. And we all have a unique, way that we're integrating into this. So I didn't mean to cut you off there. Thank you for
you're done.
sharing that.
Beautiful. Well, I think, when Jess was saying too, like we have the 5 bodies, and just working, for me, working in recovery and health coaching, people forget their other bodies. They're like, yes, this is our physical, but we have our energy, etheric body, we have our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual body. So, addressing all of them is really what helps us become whole, because we can't cut one out. And I wanted to share yesterday, just quick before you take over. I was having a conversation with this incredible nutritionist who I just adore, and I hadn't talked to her in a while. And I actually I will send her the link to this show, because she was very interested in energy work, energy medicine. So coming from the nutrition um, arena, not really knowing a lot about the energies. So I think depending on the background that you come from, she was really open to like energy, like, I want to know more about this. And I said, well, we're just doing a show on it as well. So I think it's, we get to share more about, how powerful and how important this element of our lives is. And to me, energy moves right into spirituality, understanding these universal laws and how they affect us, and affect our health and our communities.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're going to turn it over to you for a little bit.
Joyce, tell us all the goodies.
Yeah, please.
So I truly do have to thank all my teachers of all these aspects and modalities. Without them, I would not be practicing in the way I do to help humanity at the levels I do. So I am so grateful to even both of you for your awareness of what you're teaching and how you're implementing into just our local area as well, and worldwide. We all learn from each other. And the greatest gift is that we all have a different modality or a method, or how we work with energy and intention. And so I am ultimately grateful for you having me here to present. So thank you. And what I would say is, my teacher right now, with the Tao Academy and with Dr. Rilin Shu, the greatest thing that I'm learning, and it's so impactful, and I guess I'm just not going to hold back, right? It's not what people would normally talk about, so I'm just going to put it out there for what it is, because there's no reason to really hold it back. But I believe everything comes from the soul, and I really resonate with what Dr. Shah does teach in that everything has a soul within our own body. Every part and every aspect of all organs within us is an illumination of light. And the healing comes from the illumination with light within every part, every cell of our body, every part of our DNA, every molecule. And that is the miracle of the healing that takes place. So when we can center in and see our heart and our soul aligning in all aspects to true source, true self, which is true embodiment of this light body we are, because we're in physical, tangible reality, and we're also in spiritual reality as well. So it's the illumination of light happening within every cell fiber of our being, but that healing can then be quantified with our thoughts, our words, and our actions. And every thought we think, every word we speak, and every action we take, when you're quantifying that information in the positive information and letting go of the negative information, you're illuminating the light within, which is quantum healing. There is that presence within you. And this is what I've been taught. If you take it one notch higher than the negative information is, and take it up one notch higher with the positive information, right? You're going to collapse the negative information, and the positive information will come forward. So that's what we talk about, and how healing miracles do happen with individuals because of their own capacity to self-heal. It's not someone else doing it or doing the healing. It's how you resonate with your own self-healing at the highest capacity. So truly, what we were talking about in the disclosure, even in the beginning, we're all tour guides. And we're here to help and assist the other beings and souls in reaching their healing levels and helping them to amplify as well. That they match where we're at to amplify that healing capacity. So I know that's a lot to take in right there. So go ahead, Pati.
Well,
I love that.
I love it, but I wanted to come back to what you said about the positive, like bringing in our thoughts and words. And when you were mentioning the secret, that's part of it, right? So in this world where we have a lot of negative things happening, and there's it's hard to stay positive. Many people just feel depleted. There's also, of course, illness, mental illness, addiction, the news, all the things that have been happening in our world. But ultimately, we need to come back to that place of positive, so the negative collapses. So can we unpack that a little bit more? Sure. Because I think that's really, and I always go to that place of, okay, think positively, your actions, your words, but also feel the real feelings, right? Because you don't want to submerge them, like the body keeps score. We know all that. Even the EFT, you're like, even though I have terrible anxiety about this political situation going on, OMG, I still completely love myself, right? So there's acknowledgement. So I just want to play with that a little bit, because I think.
Yeah. Can we also go over how to not do spiritual bypassing with positivity? Because there's a lot of that, right? Just be positive and your life will change, because if you don't believe it, it's not going to work, right? So can you touch on that as well?
Sure. And from the learning I've had is, we're just saying, if there is, say somebody has a very, like cancer, something like that, right? And I say this because Dr. Shaw has helped many people. I won't speak to it right now, but people have had miraculous recoveries, and it's pretty phenomenal. So when I say take the positive information one notch further than the negative information, it's dissolving the negativity that's within their own thought systems or other aspects. So I won't speak to that much. I'm not saying bypass anything that is true and real for people, because we have all been through a multitude of items. And the one thing that we do teach is recognize where the pain is, go into the pain to clear the pain.
Right.
So that is acknowledging it. It's not pretending it doesn't exist. It's absolutely going into it, acknowledging it, thanking it, having deep forgiveness for self and others, and elevating the positive aspects through that forgiveness practice with love, light, harmony, humility, forgiveness, flourishing, which is abundance in all areas, and compassion, gratitude, service, and enlightenment. So we're taking all of those aspects and you're bringing them together to form the positive aspect. And you're acknowledging where the pain is to move through it with the higher light and the attunement to pure soul alignment, not what we think alignment is, but what is our true soul alignment?
Right.
Not what others or us thinking we're shamed into or guilted into things. It's no, what is our true soul alignment, and who is our true soul self? If you're not in your true soul self, then who are we being is somebody other than our true soul self.
Right.
Yeah.
And would you say that's part of the ego stuff too? Is that just part of, would you say that's ego, or it's also just part of masks that a lot of people wear?
I would I would say that ego is necessary. We're in these human physical beings, right?
Right.
And the concept, like Jessica was talking about, is to not judge negative or positive, but to meet in the middle and be one with that. Nothing's better than, nothing's worse than, but where is true alignment and where is heart-centered soul self? That's the part of us is because there are so many positive speakers in the world, which I believe are thoughts, right? If you're chanting something consistently and it's in positive form, or if it's something that resonates at the highest level of healing for self, you're helping humanity at a higher level.
Yes.
So if you're envisioning your golden light balls within you and you're creating harmony within your body, that harmony is being created at a higher level because you're focusing your intention on the golden healing light balls and the love and the light. So that's what you'll attract to you, because that is the vibrational frequency in which you are shifting your moment to moment reality. So when we say like attracts like, it's a real thing, because you're aligning truly with what resonates with you at that moment. And if it's on an unconscious level, sometimes we're resonating with something else that our old thought system is thinking over and over. But if we remove that old thought system by recognizing that it's actually there and acknowledge it, then you're going to shift your focus into, well, I'm a divine being of love and light, and I'm illuminating higher and higher and brighter. I am love and light. I am at peace. There's a different vibrational frequency.
No question about it. All these pings are coming in, probably for you too, Jess, right? I'm like, oh. Do you want to share, or do you Jess?
No, I know. I'm just like, yep. It's so interesting, because as you're talking, I'm thinking about all the times of like, it depends on where I'm at in my life, right? And it's easy to get lost in the dread. It's easy to get lost in the fear. It's easy to get lost in the pain, and the pain is part of the journey too. And I love what you said about honoring it and holding those feelings and accepting them, and then having the gratitude for them. And that's what I teach my clients too, is to give it that voice, allow it to have the voice so that it can be heard. But as you were talking too more about how we're attracting, and as we like attracts like, and when you said that, I was like, that's why we're all here together, right? Because we attracted one another, because we were doing the work to get us here to where we could be, so that we could attract one another into each other's lives.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. There was you've probably heard of this book called The Magic, by Rhonda Byrne. I don't know if she was part of The Secret, I think, as well too. But it's basically a 28-day gratitude practice. And I remember in my early recovery, there was a lot of things that were not flowing my way, but I knew that I needed to eat. So that was my foundation too. Once I knew about the brain and understanding that, okay, in order for me to think positive thoughts and to get into that place of energy, I needed to feed my brain. I couldn't do it, on pizza and whatever else that I didn't really do much of, but I knew that was an important foundation. And we teach a lot of that, right? Make sure to take care of yourself, self-care. But then I went one step further, and I was like, okay, someone said, hey, why don't you do this 28-day gratitude practice? And I was like, okay. And I did. And it was, each day was a different topic. One day was health. One day was relationships. And you basically wrote 10 things you were grateful for and why. And then you read it back to yourself. So it's kind of like the mantras too, and I'll tell you, all these things started showing up. So yes, like attracts like, but I was shifting my energy by going, thank you for this. Thank you for that. that beautiful breakfast I had. Thank you for the chair I'm sitting in. It could be like that. I was like, I don't know if I can think of 10 things every day, but you do. And then things started shifting. And that's part of what we're talking about with energy medicine, right? We're like sending it out, and then the universe spirit is helping deliver that back as we continue to shift our energy and vibration.
And we're embodying it.
Yeah.
I mean, if your vibrational field is your thoughts, your words, and your actions are in alignment, then you are vibrating that energy, and it's coming in, and it's also going out.
Yes.
And it's a give and a take, and it's a beautiful place to be, to serve with, I would say, humility. Divine humility, or divine gratitude, as how you say it, with just pure gratitude. It's not coming from the ego mind of, I need to do this or that. No, it's pure from your heart, which is pure love in essence, for removing the suffering.
I love that. It keeps bringing me back to authenticity, right? Like that authentic place of deep love for self, and then that goes out to others, which is what a lot of us are talking about, self-love. Keep coming back to healing the wounds, that people sometimes don't get out of the trauma. They can just loop in it because it's horrible. There's a lot of horrible things that have happened to people, many of us as well too. And you're like, okay, this is part of my journey to rise above. And wonderful.
Yeah.
Can we?
I want to share two little quotes that came from. So James Baldwin said, "There are two kinds of suffering: the kind in which you run from, that follows you everywhere, and the kind that you're willing to face, and therein you find your freedom."
Love that.
And then he also said, "We project what we can't deal with on others because we can't tolerate our measure of sorrow or insecurity. Not yet transformed it into the wisdom of security." So when we transform that suffering into the security, then that's where we can have that love and light and the appreciation for it, and just know that it's part of, we've turned towards it now, right? So it's easier to embrace it.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Alan Watts, we just messaged Alan Watts. I love Alan Watts as well too. Although I don't know any of his quotes, but he was a way shower many, many years ago, right? There are those people that just touch you so deeply. You're like, and then reality's here, like, oh, but what do I have to do today? I've got to go to work. Oh my gosh, I didn't get my food. I've got that bill I haven't paid. These other reality pieces come in. And I think that brings me back to, how can this energy medicine help support our mental well-being? People with anxiety, depression, addiction. I mean, we talk a lot about that. Cancer, even, like you mentioned, rising above that, to know that, okay, this is, most people don't see cancer as a gift at all. So I want to just play around with that. Like, if you can tap into that a little bit with us, Joyce.
Sure. Is there a specific area you want me to touch in on that?
Because I just mentioned like 8, right?
I know. I'm like, is there a specific one, or should I just roll with it? And I'm okay with that. So,
what do you think? I think, well, one of the things I think a lot of people that I hear are dealing with is anxiety, right? Just the fear and, like just anxiety in general, right? Like fear of the future, what's going on in our world, there's just, and that can also be part of depression. I can't do anything, the apathy, just forget about it. So if we can explore that a little bit, that would be wonderful.
So the best thing I can say with that one is, again, coming into self, being as centered as possible throughout our days. And like you elaborated on, it's our spiritual, our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our financial aspects in our life. It could be many more aspects, right? We're human every single day. Like, if I had to describe my entire day to you already, it's been fabulous. There's been great things happening, but it was a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so the present moment, the more present you can be in every single moment, is the way we move through our day. And that present moment is with your breath. And if that's the pause we have, that's the pause that gets us back to center and to soul. And if we can stay in those moments of recognizing and acknowledging, I need help in this area, I need help in this, or whatever it is, right? Whatever modality is being not necessarily modality, but whatever issue may be presenting for someone, right? I'm rushing from here to here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I've got all these aspects going on in every area of my life. And I would say, come back to center. And center is your breath, and then pause and reevaluate what is the most important thing that really needs to be done, and what is your heart calling you to do. And I would say it's recentering into that soul self at a higher capacity, day after day, moment after moment, for the present moment. And the one thing I would say on the stress management part, or the anxiety, because these are all things that all of us have dealt with, right? And I don't mean to put that out there, but I mean all, as in, I have dealt with it. I have been through things in life. That's why I have such compassion. And anxiety and stress, I would say, comes up with, we're thinking of the future, or we're stuck in the future. We don't have a plan or understand how to do what we need to do, or it is the moment of, we're stuck in the past.
Yes.
But when we're in the present moment, there's no confusion.
No.
You're in the present moment, and you're touching with your heart and your soul. And that's where the healing happens, because if you can repattern yourself and your soul in that aspect, you're moving in the direction that will continually give you the information you need for getting the answer for the future, and leaving the past behind and staying in the present moment.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what my mindfulness teachings teach too. But the way that you stated it, Joyce, was just so eloquent that, yeah. And did everybody else take a breath when Joyce said we have that pause and we come back to our breath? I was like, oh, breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I certainly did. And it's interesting when you were talking about the past and the future, because I talk about that quite a bit with people, especially people in recovery, that are dealing with a lot of trauma, and most people in recovery, 99.9%, are in recovery because of trauma. And I'm talking about recovery from addictions. There are other, obviously recovery from cancer or loss, we have those as well too. But the recovery from most people who have addiction issues have trauma, right?
Yes.
And they're like going back, they keep going back. Oh my gosh, what did I do? I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Or where am I going? So it is about being present. And I know as we live in the present, as we all know, we are actually creating our future, right? Because that's just bringing us to the next moment, which is, okay, thank you. And that's why I love gratitude, And I think maybe we can explore some tools for people to stay present. Like the breath is definitely there, mantras, and I mean, maybe we can even do a little exercise if you're open to that.
100%.
Yeah,
I
you
can
know.
lead that right now.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh,
I
do
was thinking about those golden balls you were talking about.
Oh, we have a golden balls.
I want those golden balls. That's what
I want 100 of them.
100.
Okay.
If you feel comfortable with that, I think that would be
I
a great.
do.
Okay,
Oh.
great.
Oh, yeah. So just go ahead and take in a deep breath. You can close your eyes if you'd like to, or you can just remain open and present. Taking in a deep breath from your belly. Breathing into the count of 8. Holding it. And breathing out 4 to the count of 4. Holding it. And release further, all the way. And then take in a deep breath. And hold it. And completely let go. And one last breath. Breathing in. And holding. And let go. And just sit in the present moment, calling in the love and the light and deep forgiveness of yourself and others, and compassion for yourself at the highest level. Whatever that may be right now, whatever level that is. And acknowledge the past and thank it. And as you're sitting in the present moment, allow these beautiful, beautiful golden balls to come in. Healing light. And it may be different colors or a different level of light that you're associated with. That's your soul level. Whatever that is for you, just let that resonate through you. Turning on all your gifts and your talents and your treasures that you've accumulated over these lifetimes and in this timing. Thank the healer and the inner energies of you. Thanking your soul and connecting. And just as you're staring within your soul level, illuminate your light, clearing out any negativity. And just see it like a spotlight or a lighthouse circling around, shining the light, shining the light, shining the light.
Mm.
And just watch that happening, cleansing and clearing. And deep gratitude and compassion. And again, forgive those in the past. Forgive the self. And come back into the heart center, illuminating this golden light ball again. Feeling pure love and pure light. And then allow those golden balls to do the work they're meant to do at the soul level for you in all aspects of life as appropriate. Sending compassion and healing presence and deep love throughout the universe and in your own soul self, each and every day in every way, every moment, coming back to your soul self, your physical being, illuminating the light more. And calling in the presence and the power and that source that you're connected to. Simply illuminate that golden light ball brighter and brighter, giving gratitude and thanks to all those teachers and guides and helpers and beings, all that we know, Mother Earth, stars and the galaxies, and all beings serving at this high level of light and love. So coming into the present moment, breathe in that light and love. Acknowledge what needs to shift with ease and grace. And see the expansion of the golden light in your abdomen, connecting. Being truthful and clear. And you can see yourself lighter and lighter, brighter and brighter, and coming into your soul knowledge and wisdom, your true path as you get clear in the present moment. And when you're ready, simply illuminate brighter and brighter, remaining in that golden light ball or rainbow light ball or illuminated light, whatever that may be, in colors and aspects that suit your soul. Integrating into your body, your mind, your spirit, your soul, all aspects and layers and levels as appropriate, coming in now. And you can simply open your eyes and come into the present moment. Integrated fully, every layer and level, all aspects and every cells and parts of your being as appropriate.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Jessica got bumped out, but I think she'll be coming back in.
Okay.
It was, thank you for that guidance. And when you brought us back to, hey, Jess.
Oh my gosh, I transcended.
Yeah, you did. You jumped out.
That was amazing, Joyce. Thank you.
So beautiful. I was mentioning that when you talked about thanking your past, I got teary, because I was just like, because a lot of it's been so hard,
Mm-hmm.
um, for many, it's not just me, that, but the tears are of gratitude too. I fill up easy now because it's not just like I'm sad. I'm grateful for that ability to feel, and for any of our listeners too, like having that ability to go, oh wow, thank you, you know, and it may not feel like that right now if you're in it right now, if you're in a lot of pain or suffering right now, or you've lost someone, or you're in early recovery. But there is hope, and that's what we try to do on this show too, bring hope. So thank you for adding to that hope, Joyce.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. That was so beautiful.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me here. Yeah, and to reiterate, like we talked about, coming back to the present moment, that's an option, to come back to the present moment, to just feel your heart, to feel your breath, to take that time out and give yourself a time out for reintegrating to that moment, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying or diminishing any person that is going through the hardest struggles in their life, but that is one thing and one aspect that they can do, is to sit with their breath for a minute and then reach out and ask for help from other people, to communicate, to ask for help when needed. And that is something that we are all able to recognize, because when you've been through such traumas in life, you do not judge, you just communicate, and you support and you empower.
I love that. Well,
Huge compassion. Thank you.
well, it's so interesting about the energy that you just shared about asking for help. So Jess and I earlier today connected about asking for help. We did a talk on that, and I was like, asking for help, like those of us that do a lot ourselves, how can we ask for help? And I think that's an important element that you just tapped on. It's like, okay, um, I need I need I need some support. Are you able to give that to me? And and again, that's a communication thing. So especially when you're hurting, and you may need someone to bring you a meal,
Exactly.
like things that you're just normally you can't get to. And we were talking about it in terms of injuries too, right? Like I broke my foot, and I'm like, I can't take a shower by myself.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
not that I want to invite too many people in, but I had to ask my husband to like help me. Like I had to get a stool, and everything was slowed down to this place of like, okay, I can't do what I normally was able to do, whether it's a physical injury or, a depression or a loss, um, it's harder when you're depressed to ask for help, right? So that's where if somebody's suffering out there, we may need be the ones to say, can I help you as well too? I wasn't asking for help when I was in depression. So I just wanted to put that out there to our listeners. If you are that depressed, it may be, take that notch up that you were talking about earlier, Joyce, and say, I need help. Can you help me? Or can you guide me to someone that can help me?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. And any of us can help. Any of us
Yes.
can help with that depression. So all of us are experienced and have the knowledge and the know-how. And so please reach out to any one of us.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think when you talk about being in the present moment, that may be the part that you do feel some relief when you get back to the present moment, because you're not thinking about the past or the future.
Yes.
But when you're in that present moment and there's massive grief or suffering as well, to level up to that place of just the asking. Just the asking. And it might be texting a family member or reaching out. And there are lines to be able to call out to. So I think that is imperative for you to say that, Jessica, that everyone can show up and help, even if it's a friend, and reach out, even if it feels like it's hard to ask. Just say, I need help, and see where it takes you. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Thank you as well too.
Yeah.
So, anything more that we want to share? I don't know if we have some Q&A. Uh, I don't know that we do. I guess one thing that I would just, could you just talk a little bit about the energy body? So,
Sure.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I think a lot of people are like, well, what is that? Is that your aura? Is it? And I also, my other question for you is, I've heard that the energy body mirrors the physical body. Is there some truth in that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, let's just open it up with what the energy
sure.
body is. So, okay.
Sure. And I would say everything is energy.
Okay.
So the table, the chair, everything is energy, right? It is the Shen Qi Jing, right? This is what we're taught. The soul of everything, or the energy of everything, turns into the matter. So when you have the matter of a table or the matter of a being, we are the soul, the energy of it, and then we are physical matter.
Mm,
So when you talk about the energy system, it is multifaceted.
mm.
The energy system starts within. Like, think about, do you feel tired in the morning? Are you awake? You know, what is your energy level just in a physicality, in a
Right.
physical body? And then think about your spiritual energy, and where does your spiritual energy expand out to? And
Mm,
again, that comes back to your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Your energy field will reflect what you're surrounding your thoughts and your words and your actions with. So the brighter and brighter this energy field becomes, you can call in layers of protection as well, because you are
mm.
this light being of and field that is a positive force in the world. So you know how they, and I don't want to get all religious and everything, but do you remember in the Catholic Church or wherever it is, you'll see the halos above the
Yes.
saints? That's a real thing. We all are these aspects of light, just not everybody can see them, sense them, or feel them. So it does go outside, and it's called your biofield, or it's called your
Right.
aura.
Biofield,
It,
aura. Yep.
it has so many different names. But the more you can sit in your own energy field and view it. So I would say, look at it this way. If you've ever sat outside and just stared at your hand and then watched the emanations that are happening off
Hmm.
of your own field. And we
Right.
can do that by rubbing our hands together and then feeling the energy
Right.
between, and it vibrates at a different speed and frequency. That's what's going on within our chakra systems and our bodies as well. And that's when something is off or misaligned and not in total alignment, that's where disease or aspects come in balance,
Hmm.
out of balance. So
Right.
anger, fear, all of these other emotions come out when there's misalignment going on in the soul level and in the body. So when we realign and I was going to say restructure or repair our own energetic field, or we ask for help from Reiki practitioners or other practitioners, Tao Hands practitioners, Guan Yin holders, whatever you're calling in at your
Hmm.
level, that is something that can repair very quickly and easily with help and assistance as well, because somebody's trained in the field of seeing where that misalignment is.
Love that.
Is that deep
Oh,
enough, or would you
yes.
like me
No,
to go a
that's,
little deeper?
um,
I think that was really deep for
I
our
think,
viewers.
I think that's probably good, good, good. Well,
Okay.
it's just, it's also a reminder for all of us to come back to that alignment, to come back to that love and that light within, for us to heal, because it is really hard to heal when you hate yourself.
Exactly.
It's really hard to heal when you hate someone else.
It's really hard to
Yeah.
heal when you're carrying anger and
Exactly.
And
You
that's
know,
where I would say deep forgiveness practice every single morning, every
absolutely.
single evening. And I would say chanting, I deeply love and appreciate myself, or deep
Yes.
gratitude and forgiveness. Please forgive me. And asking for forgiveness from those that we've hurt and harmed that we have no idea we've even hurt and harmed. The knowing and the unknown. And I would say that deep forgiveness is what clears so much energy, because because we don't know who we've hurt or harmed in a past life, this lifetime, or people that, just unconsciously we're doing something and we have no idea.
Right.
So that level of impact is important to ask for forgiveness as well. And to forgive and not hate is to forgive and to receive a greater amount of love and light. And again, I'm not sugarcoating in any way or saying do not sugarcoat. I'm saying acknowledge it and ask for forgiveness daily and have gratitude.
Right.
No question.
I'm reminded of the Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ho'oponopono.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you.
Yep.
Yes.
And the research on that is phenomenal. I did that with my class a couple of weeks ago. And honestly, it was a doctor in Hawaii working with people in the prison. And a lot of them were in life sentences.
Yeah.
And the change in them, we cannot like something or have an issue with someone, but if we hold that, we will stay sick.
Yes.
And we really do need to as it's hard to accept some of the things that are, happening out there, but accepting your irritation and still loving, coming back to love and forgiveness is what is going to help you heal and our world.
And we're moving to a different octave.
Yeah,
and
we are.
If we're looking for peace, love, and harmony on this planet, it comes from within each and every soul.
Absolutely.
And how we think, we speak, and we act, and who we then choose to place our energies with. And if we're sitting in front of the news and allowing that to infiltrate our own systems, then where are we able to then recalibrate? And it's coming back to the present moment.
Bingo.
And moving that energy off of you so that you can be loving compassion, loving kindness.
Right. Yeah. And
that's how shift happens.
No question. And I talk a lot about energy leaks. I'm like, okay, well, you just mentioned one, the news. I'm like, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big thing going on. Right. So thank you for that. And, with a big group. And yes, I mean, it helps when we're connected to other people like this. And look for that. Look for a tribe for yourself. Look for a meditation group, because the power does grow. And I believe it is growing on the planet. More people are coming back to forgiveness, to self-care, to okay, we have to take care of our environment and do the best that we can. And that is part of what's shifting.
Could you imagine if every person taught that to children all over the world, is loving compassion and the Ho'oponopono? Could you imagine what that would be like if that's how they were greeted during their day and their moments?
Yes.
And it was a thought that was immediate, and you would instantly be able to just say thank you to the negativity and welcome in the loving compassion, and teach that to every child of, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I thank you, I love you. Whatever form or however it wants to be said, right? But that to me could produce enough change in the world that every person could then have a different mindset and reality of it does not mean go out and harm others and then ask for forgiveness. It means be completely in alignment and be authentic with the truth of peace and healing on this planet.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Beautiful.
Well, that's why I like the Ho'oponopono, because that's the phrase in Hawaiian, where you can say that instead of saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Because I noticed with a lot of people, they're like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say I'm sorry. I mean, it's amazing how many people do not want to say that because they don't think they've wronged anybody.
Right.
Or they didn't do anything wrong. They were wronged, right? They were harmed. So they're like, well, why am I saying I'm sorry when it's that person who did it to me, you know? So I think just having that comes back to that, okay, that element of love and light, you know, and ho'oponopono, because you can say that,
Mhm.
right?
And to remember that saying I'm sorry is saying I'm sorry to the self, to
Right.
the ancestors,
Yes.
to the guides, to all, to
Right.
everything,
Right.
that we may not know what we don't know. And saying I'm sorry is just a way to claim and accept that self for forgiveness. And it doesn't have to be the word I'm sorry. It can be I love myself. I honor
Right.
myself. Please
Bingo.
forgive me.
And the person that you are practicing this with does not have to be present in order for you to practice it with them either.
Exactly.
Not at
Yes.
all. Not
Yes.
at all. And you can also write a letter.
Yes. Yeah.
That's another therapeutic form of healing, you know, writing a letter and just getting it out through the writing.
Mhm.
Not typing though. I mean, people are always like, well, I'll just type it and send. I'm like, no, actually just writing is another, you know, somatic exercise of healing where you're writing the words out, because as you write, you're saying them, right?
And you're thinking in a different level.
Yeah.
So it
Yes.
is integrating at a higher level. Like you're saying,
Mhm.
it's not just typing, it is physically writing it out.
Mm,
Yes.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
Yep. Wonderful. Well, I think we are complete.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we are complete
Yeah.
for now. I think we're ready to end. So I just want to thank you, Joyce, from a deep soul level, for coming on and sharing this with us and reminding
Yeah.
us of who we are, which is love and light. And
Mhm.
and hopefully our listeners will also feel that as well too, because we all are divine aspects of God, of
Mhm.
spirit, of that light.
Mhm.
And the more we can feel that, the more we heal ourselves in our world.
Yeah,
So
and to be the change we want to see in the world, actually
bingo.
implement the change we want to be, and that's in the present moment. So thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you too. And anything else from you, Jess?
How can we find you, Joyce?
So through my website, energyhealthclinic.com. I'm also on Instagram and on Facebook as well. So Joyce Steindler or energyhealthclinic.com.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
And
thanks
yeah,
again. And thank you everybody for joining us. Blessings,
thank
love and
you.
light to all.
Thank you.